Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Present, an interview series by youth for youth. Our guest today is Brother Razeen Khan. Razeen is a recent UMG graduate who is currently applying for medical school. He is interested in promoting healthcare and wellness in the DMV community and has been working on establishing a wellness clinic, also known as a Sakeenah Wellness Center, over the past couple months. He hopes to establish the center as an ongoing project for future ILIA interns to manage. So, Jazakallah khairan, thank you, Razeen, for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Mhm. So first off, what is the Sakeenah Clinic? Can you provide us with like a small background about it?
Sure. So it was an idea that started from a research paper I was writing on like major health issues in Baltimore. And so I was doing some research on like what are like the top issues that the city faces. And then there was an idea that, okay, like maybe I could take this further and maybe start like a center that works on like managing health issues in the city. And from there, it kind of, through like a lot of discussion and like working on it, I realized that, I mean, with COVID, it's kind of hard to have a center, like a physical center like that. And so it was more like I decided a virtual center might be a better way to go. I guess it sort of shifted from the original view where I think initially it was mostly focused on like Baltimore City, but I think, um, because we have, like, more limited connections in Baltimore, I'd sort of made it more general and, like, okay, like, for the entire DMV. And because it's virtual, it's like, whoever, like, wants to join, like, whatever events or whatever outreach could be in this entire area.
So since it's virtual, how is it gonna look? Since that's just something different.
So I was thinking right now is to have, like, a series of articles and videos. So I wanna have regular content to give health information, and then regular events, so maybe monthly events. The first event I'm thinking of is to have a virtual clinic day, where patients can have like a consultation with physicians who volunteer. And so, like, I guess this would be in place of maybe like a physical event. So I know that in the past, there's certain like health drives and people might come in and like see a doctor and maybe get their blood pressure checked or like sort of like a quick physical checkup, for free for people. And so this would be like in place of that, where it's just more of like a virtual consultation, maybe over some sort of video conferencing software. So that's like the first event idea. And so yeah, so our outreach, the goal for at least for keeping it virtual is that we're gonna have virtual events and like informational sorts of things, and then like articles to help educate the community.
So did you face any like major roadblocks or challenges while establishing this clinic? And if so, how did you overcome them?
There hasn't been any, I guess, like major roadblocks, but I guess the challenge is sort of figuring out what to do that would actually like work or like be beneficial like at this time. So the idea initially was to have a physical clinic, um, but with COVID and with the certain limitations, you kind of have to think like, okay, like that's not going to work. So I guess just figuring out like what works and what doesn't work as far as being able to give something that's like meaningful. And I think that'll sort of be like an ongoing process because I guess as we do events, like we might realize, okay, like we're not maybe getting attendance or like we're gonna learn like over time like how to reach people better. And so those are sort of the challenges.
So how do you think that this clinic will impact people and communities?
I think it could have a positive impact on educating the public on issues that maybe they don't always like we don't always talk about or discuss. So I'm hoping that like with the articles, I'm gonna try to plan out like having content that is meaningful or important for people to know that maybe they don't always like think about. So the goal is to have like to fill in the gaps of knowledge that people might have and things that are important. I hope to do that with like maybe getting advice from like doctors and physicians and getting their input on what they think people should know. And so I think that is one impact it could have on the community. And another impact I think is also for the youth. I think that ILIA running, having this be an ongoing project, I think could be a good opportunity for anyone who's interested in healthcare. And if this grows, like, new interns who come in, this could be a good experience for them as well to, I guess, like, work on these sorts of things.
So what goals and plans do you have for the future for this wellness clinic?
My goal is to within the next 3 months to have like an established brand. So like we have a name, we have a logo. Uh, people kind of know like what we are. There at least is some sort of there's been like a promotion of like the fact that we're doing this and like people like come to the website and then we have regular content like like weekly articles coming out, and hopefully we get some like web traffic for visitors. I want to have like the regular events, like monthly events. So I guess I want some like community engagement within the next 3 months and have this be like an ongoing thing. And then in the future, if it sort of takes off, it could become a physical clinic or a physical center maybe. But that would be like further in the future. So I guess if we have we start establishing partnerships within the community, working with maybe like different health organizations on events or initiatives. This could potentially become like a more like permanent physical location in the future. But that wouldn't be. I think that'd be more like in the distant future.
Since it's a virtual clinic, do you think it's going to be harder to get people, or how do you think it's going to work?
I think as far as the stuff we can do, it's a lot more limited because the initial idea for a wellness center was to have something where it's like, okay, like we have events for people to come in and, for different things, right? Like maybe like, for just like sessions for different types of things or talks and like free like clinic visits and a lot of different sort of things that you'd do physically, but then because it's online or virtual, it would be more. I guess it would just have to change like the type of content we could do or the types of events we could have. Um, I kind of I guess the initial idea was sort of more in line with like doing something like the MCC clinic, so it's like a literal like clinic where people like get like their medical needs like addressed. So that was actually the initial thing. So it's more like very like medical focused, but because of the limitations and especially with COVID, it's like, okay, like we need to expand the idea. So it's not just like a medical thing because, it's not necessarily possible right now. So it's more like, okay, like overall wellness, what does that mean? It's more information based. So I think that's the difference with it being virtual.
All right, well, Jazakallah khair. Those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I guess we should have it something done or something concrete, hopefully by January 9th. So I'm hoping to launch this. I hope this project launches pretty soon and like we can start an advertising campaign. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, Jazakallah khair. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. Have a great
Understand.